Good morning. Welcome back to the course Product Design and Manufacturing. I am Dr. Amandeep Singh and this is our first interaction in this course. So, I will take the topic value engineering here. Like we have already discussed how to convert the voice of customer to the specifications of the manufacturer. That was the quality function deployment. That was the one of the technique. In value engineering, we will learn how to put the creativity, how to find the basic functions of the product and work on that. So, the contents will go like this. We will see what is value, we will see the kinds of value, and then we will discuss what is value engineering. We will see some history on value engineering. Then we will compare the general cost reduction with value engineering. Now, value, the definition is given by Mudge in 1971. He says it is the lowest cost to reliably provide the required functions or service at the desired time and place with essential quality. You can see there are 4 characteristics. Number 1, lowest cost. Number 2, to reliably provide. Number 3, the required function. Number 4, at the desired time. Number 5, with essential quality. So, these are the key words. So, it looks like a lot of things have been put into one sentence, but we will see how do we conduct value engineering study and how this is possible. So, value, if I talk about the cost value, the value can be given by this relation. Value is equal to product utility per unit product cost. I have put the word utility here. It might be benefit. So, for instance, let me take an example of a pen. You purchase a pen, you are willing to pay ₹20 for a pen that writes smoothly, that you are able to put in your pocket, that has the grip and general things what a normal pen has. But when you go to market, you find a pen, the cost of the pen is ₹10 and it satisfies all your needs what you have expected. So, in that case, you are willing to pay ₹20, but you got that thing in ₹10. So, this number is 2. So, in this case, you are kind of delighted. You saved your money. You saved 50% of your money in this case. So, this number, if this is greater than 1, that means satisfied customer. If this is less than 1, that means unsatisfied customer. So, this was one example. There are various kinds of value, various types of value. I am just talking about the cost value or use value here in this case, in this relation. So, the objective qualities of value consist of use value and cost value. The value gives ultimate satisfaction to the customer and is expressed with this relation. Value engineering is primarily concerned with the economic value. We will see what is that. So, let us see the kinds of values here. This is the Aristotle in way back used this term value and he divided that into 7 classes. He says we have economic value, moral value, social value, political value, aesthetic value, religious value and judicial value. Economic value is the one that we are more concerned in our course. In this we have use value and cost value. Economic value is the one for which I just took the example of a pen. Next is moral value. We generally say the word, my parents imbibed moral values in me. We read good books like books by Rumi, by great philosophers. We try to learn the moral values. We try to be a good citizen. We try to be a good part of the society. So those values are known as moral value, and social values are also very close when we are concerned with the people around us. For example, in IIT Kanpur, we have Green Opus practice. Green Opus is a kind of sustainability initiative in which we do not waste food. The food wastage, whatever is there in each hall, that is collected in a bin and that is weighed. When the weight of, let me say, if it is practiced for 3 weeks, for the total 3 weeks, the hall or the hostel which has the least wastage, the least weight of the food is there, that is given some prize, or they are named, okay, they have worked on the sustainable work. So that is a societal, social benefit work. Then political values are also there, aesthetic values, religious values, judicial values. Political values are sometimes people are more inclined towards their political interest, and the values they use, they put their time and money into the specific political party, I can say, for which they are working for. And aesthetic values, some products also have the aesthetic values. These are called cell functions, I will say. Okay, you brought the pen from the market that writes blue in color, or let me say, if you like a green color body pen. So you purchase the pen, you say, okay, I want a pen that writes blue, but the pen color body should be green. Now that is the aesthetics you are looking for. You like the green color, you purchase that. Now next is religious values and judicious values. These you can think of. Now economic value consists of subjective and objective qualities, and it comprises of 4 specific kinds as follows: use value, esteem value, cost value, and exchange value. Use value is the properties or features and qualities that accomplish a use, work, or service. Now these relates to the attributes of a product which enable it to perform its basic function. I could write here the basic function, or like Dr. Ramkumar discussed the kind of characteristics of the product, the functional characteristics is the use value that we have. I can put here functional characteristics. That is something that is essential. Sometimes the desired things, desired means the operational characteristics, those are also here in use value. Next is esteem value. These are the properties, features and qualities that make ownership of the product as desirable. So this is kind of the additional premium price which a product can attract because of its intrinsic attractiveness or to the purchaser or customers. Next is cost value. These are the properties which are the sum of labor, material, overhead and other costs required to produce the product. Other cost means we also have profit involved in this. If we are talking about the value or the cost to the customer, that is the selling price, it also has this profit in it. So it is the total cost of producing the product. Next is exchange value. These are the properties that make it possible to procure other items by trading. So let us discuss a little more about the kinds of value. Now use value, it was the definition given by this German philosopher. He said that the value in use is the utility of consuming a good, the want satisfying power of a good or service in classical political economy. This is too broad definition. Like the use value I can discuss using this Karl Marx philosophy. He says that the political economy, any product has a labor value or a use value, and if it is traded as a commodity in markets, it additionally has an exchange value. Here Karl Marx compares the value of the object. In this case we have this apple, that is fruit, and a kind of antique piece that you can put in the showcase, in the display in your drawing room, but the use value is eating. This does not accomplish the use value. So the value, that is socially necessary labor time, it has use value and exchange value as its components. So these are the material qualities and quantities. These are heterogeneous. Exchange value is quantitative, and maybe it is homogeneous. Next is cost value. The term replacement cost or replacement value refers to the amount that an entity would have to pay to replace an asset at the present time according to its current worth. So simply we can say it is the amount one is willing to pay for the specific product. So it is value is benefit per unit price. Next is esteem value. Esteem value is defined as the subjective value a client attributes to the product that makes them feel good about the owning the product. The brand value, the Apple, iPhone, Mac computers, for example, Apple is a good example of a product that contains high esteem component in the value of the products of the company manufacturers. Look at the MacBooks, iPod, iPhones, all these products have use component. Functionality is very good, but the price people are paying for is also the esteem value. So people feel good, the people who like to work on the Apple products also have this esteem component in them. So they own Apple products, they take pride in showing off the Apple logo sometimes. So this esteem value is something like Mercedes car, then jewelry, like Dr. Ram Kumar said, you wear Nike or Adidas shoes. The shoes were once designed to cover the foot, but now these are considered as the status symbol of the person. Next is exchange value. Exchange value is quantified worth of one good or service expressed in terms of the worth of other. For example, in the business of foreign exchange, the value of each currency is in terms of the value of other currency. We say $1 or US $1 is equal to rupees 67. This is the exchange value. So this creates an exchange value or exchange rate for each major currency relative to the benchmark currency. This is the benchmark currency US $1. The exchange value does not need to be expressed in the money terms, monetary terms, not always. I would like to cross this thing. Sometimes the emotional value is also part of the exchange value. For example, my mother gave me a pen as a gift. The cost of the pen was rupees 100. My friend asked me to lend him that pen, or he says, okay, you give that pen to me, I'll keep it. I said no. Then he says, okay, I'll offer you rupees 50, that is the cost of the pen. Then he says, okay, I offer you rupees 100, that is the cost of the pen. I say no. Then he says, okay, I pay rupees 500 for that. Again I say no. Then he say, I'll pay rupees 1000 for this pen if you lend me this. Again I say no, because I have some emotional values attached to that pen. So, in that case the value of the pen or the cost of the pen, cost is equal to rupees 100, and the utility, I am not even willing to lend it for rupees 1000, that is exchange value. So, next comes is value engineering. Value engineering is one of the most effective, promising, rewarding modern technique available to identify and eliminate unnecessary costs in design, testing, manufacturing, construction, operations, maintenance, procedures, specification, practices, and so on. So, I have put the word modern techniques here, though the value engineering started in World War II only, but these days also the value engineering is being applied, and recently we the other management techniques in sustainable manufacturing, we are developing the value engineering green plan. That generally it is value engineering job plan, that is a systematic way. It has normally it has 7 steps through which we try to improve the value. So, we are working on the value engineering green plan. So, these days also this technique is being very much utilized to improve the value of the product or service. Let us see the definition of value engineering that is given by Society of American Value Engineers. They say it is the systematic application of the recognized techniques which identify the function of a product or a service, establish a monetary value for that function, and provide the necessary function reliably at the lowest overall cost. Number 1, identify the function. Number 2, establish the monetary value. Number 3, provide the necessary function. If they say necessary function, there might be some functions which are unnecessary. I put hyphen here, unnecessary functions. So, these are eliminated. So, what do we do in value engineering? We will talk about this in very much detail, but broadly what we do, we think of the function of the product. For example, I was talking about the pen. I want something to write in blue color. So, pen is the first thing, something to write is pen. Is the pen only option? Though my purpose here, my basic function here is to provide marks, to make marks on the paper, to make lines on the paper. So, I can use a blue color pencil, I can use a paint brush, I can use crayons for that. So, these are the ideas those comes into my mind. So, these ideas, do not think about the basic fact that okay, pen is the basic thing that is to be used to make blue marks. So, this thing is known as creativity. Think of something that is not factual. So, it is said human mind works like an umbrella. It works only when it opens. So, this is the basic thing, basic criteria of value engineering. First, what we do, we identify the function of the product. The function of the pen is to make marks. So, let us think of, I have a pen. For example, this is a stylus. The length of the stylus is about 15 centimeters here. So, if there is a stylus that is of only 5 centimeters, this diameter is about 20 centimeters. If there is stylus, the diameter is about 50 centimeters. For example, if this is the stylus holder, if this is my pen, would I buy this? No. So, identify the function. The function of this body is to make grip. it is, we take the anthropometric dimensions of the hand. A human hand can hold from maybe 7 to 25 pens. It depends upon the precision that we required. The blackboard marker are quite broader because the precision is less, so this size is larger. For the pen that are used to write precisely, for which we want good handwriting to be there on the paper, the size is from 7 to 20 This is the function of the body. Now this body needs to hold a refill in this. In case of stylus, it needs to hold these switches. It needs to hold this click here. It needs to hold this tip here. These are the functions of my product. So we identify these functions. Then we see, are these functions necessary? Is this much length necessary? So this small length pen or stylus wouldn't work. This much length is necessary to hold it properly. Okay. Then we see the monetary value of each function. What is the function? What is the cost of the body of the pen to provide this much of dia, this much grip? This is actually a rubber grip. What is the cost of this rubber body? So if we provide a metallic body, what would happen? The grip wouldn't be that good. So we have electronics, we have electronic integrated circuits in this stylus. So what is the cost of that? So this is kind of an active stylus. The cost may be from 20,000 to 25,000. So is 25,000 worth for this pen? So we establish a monetary value. This is value engineering. First we identify the function, establish the monetary value, then we see what is necessary and what is unnecessary. If there is some unnecessary function which we can eliminate and the corresponding cost can also be eliminated, then we can provide it at a lower cost. The lowest overall cost is eliminating the all unnecessary functions, or maybe providing these necessary functions also at the lower cost. So in this week we will go through the value engineering systematic study, and we also see the various examples. So by the end of this week you would be able to apply a value engineering technique to the various products, and also we will have a task on this thing. Now value engineering improves value. Value engineering is an approach to productivity improvement that attempts to increase the value obtained by customer of a product by offering the same level of functionality at lower cost. I can put it here, same level of functionality at lower cost. So value was utility per unit cost. This was our value. This utility can be performance, this utility can be time, this utility can be the quality. The methodology does much more than just curtail the costs. It improves the time, performance, quality, as well as determine the type of work that is to be performed to have this level of performance, the same level. So value engineering is the review of new and existing products during the design phase to reduce cost. So this is applied in design phase only. Value engineering is applied in design phase to increase the functionality, in order to increase the value of the product. The value of an item is the most effective way of producing an item without taking away its function. Let us see some history on value engineering. During World War II at General Electric Company, Dr. Lawrence D. Miles. So during World War II at General Electric Company, substitutions for the critical materials dictated by the shortages resulted in products that accomplished their function at reduced cost. So, in 1947, Mr. Lawrence D. Miles, who is the founder of value engineering, he was a General Electric staff engineer, and he was assigned the task in the purchasing division to study the new proprietary concepts, where he succeeded in developing an amazing new package of techniques, and he named them value analysis. This was the first name given, value analysis. These days value analysis and value engineering are used interchangeably, though still there is a debate going on that value analysis is different from value engineering. Value analysis, some of the contributors say that value analysis is only up to the analysis part. If we identify the functions, we establish the monetary value, we find what are the unnecessary functions. That is value analysis. And if we take forward unnecessary functions, eliminated those unnecessary functions, and to provide a new plan for the product in which those components which are unnecessary or those functions which are unnecessary are not present, this is value engineering. So, this line between the implementation and analysis makes the difference of value analysis and value engineering. Some of the authors would say value analysis is now value engineering only. If you have identified the unnecessary functions and are not able to implement that, you are not able to provide the systematic way how to implement or how to obtain the final product that does the same function at lower cost, there is no need of value engineering, they say. So, they use value analysis and value engineering term interchangeably. So, in 1954, the US Navy Bureau of Ships applied value analysis to cost avoidance during design, calling it value engineering. So, they gave this name value engineering here. The first government organization to use this technique, the US Navy Bureau of Ships. Then I have divided into decades here. In 1960s, the major contributions, in 1970s, the major contributions, in 1960s, this FAST technique came into existence. FAST is function analysis system technique. So, what is FAST? We will see in the forthcoming lectures here. FAST is actually putting all the functions into a diagrammatic form, and we see what are the necessary, what are the basic functions, how do we accomplish specific functions, and why do we need that function, and necessary and unnecessary functions are separated. In 1970s, the General Services Administration began its building contractor value engineering program and started using incentive clauses. So, in 1980, US Department of Defense developed or established the honorary value engineering or value engineer award. So, these are the major milestones. So, in 1990s, value engineering boom in construction and industry came into play, though it was already there in construction industry, but in 1990s even the small contractors started implementing value engineering techniques into their work. So, in 2000 and onwards, value engineering synergies with management techniques such as Six Sigma. You will find various research papers on how value engineering is related to or how value engineering can be implemented in a combined way with Six Sigma, with lean manufacturing, with green manufacturing, with agile manufacturing, and so on. In India, we have INVEST, Indian Value Engineering Society, which was established in October 1977. INVEST organizes awareness training programs and workshops conducted by certified value specialists. These are CVS. Also, they provide AVS. AVS is academic value specialist. They provide these certificates, so they make their participants learn the value engineering techniques, the systematic way to apply value engineering, and they certify them. They are specialists in value engineering. Also, they conduct conferences and provide an exciting forum for the exchange of knowledge. So, Invest serves in Indian industry by dissemination of specialized knowledge to professionals who in turn help industry to improve their profitability through the technique of value engineering. So, it has various zones, namely north, east, west and south, and some prominent players like Tata, L&T are also the members of the Invest society, not the company specifically, the MDs or CEOs of the companies or the upper level management people are Invest members, or they are invited to the conferences or the workshops to provide special lectures or specialized lectures to the trainees there. So, breaking down value engineering. Value engineering is, as I said, the review of new and existing products during the design phase to reduce cost and increase functionality in order to increase the value of the product. The value of an item is defined as the most cost effective way of producing an item without taking away from its purpose. We are revitalizing the things again. Reduce cost at the expense of quality will simply be a cost cutting strategy. So, this is not value engineering. Value engineering is maintaining the quality and then reducing the cost. So, what is need of value engineering? Businesses are lagging productivity. Changing business environment is there. Evolving industry and business practices, changing customer expectations, the product life cycles are contracting. So, life cycle in this case I am talking in terms of when you purchase and when you dispose of. So, this was if 4 years before, this has contracted to 2 years in general. So, misalignment of business requirements and supporting applications is there. The reason behind value engineering is if marketing or marketers expect to produce a product to become practically or stylistically obsolete. The basic reason here is if marketers expect a product to become practically or stylistically obsolete within a specific length of time, they can design it only to last for that specific lifetime. They design the product to last for this thing only, like Dr. Ramkumar took an example of tube light. They say the tube light tube, its outer covering, the glass does not deteriorate. The clips at the ends does not deteriorate, only the gas fails. So, this needs some change. The whole tube light is disposed of, that is thrown into the waste just because of the interior working or the gas fails here. So, this is one example here. The products could be built with higher grade components, but with value engineering they are not, because this would impose an unnecessary cost on the manufacturer, also an increased cost to the customer here. Value engineering will reduce this cost. A company with typically used the least expensive components that satisfy the product lifetime. So, let me compare value analysis or value engineering with conventional cost reduction. The conventional cost reduction is item oriented, value engineering is function oriented. For instance, if you think of a chair, to reduce the cost of the chair, you would say, okay, I change the material. If the chair has arms, let us not put the arms, that has some additional cost associated with that. So, it is thinking about the item, it is thinking about the chair here. Item oriented, he is thinking about the chair. When I say function oriented, he said what is the function of the chair? Function of the chair is to support load, to support the load of the body. For example, the chair is if designed for 100 kgs, the average weight is 60 or 70 kgs in India. So the design, it is actually the things are over designed, or we have factor of safety in that. For example, if it is designed for 100 kgs, can we have something else or some other way to support? He say, okay, use stool. First I would put here support load is the basic function here. So can we use a stool? Can we use some cane net, something like that? Value engineering works on the function. The basic function of the chair is to support load. The secondary function might be provide good look, provide comfort. We have cushions on the chair, then provide support to the arms, then provide wheels so that the rotation could happen. These might be the secondary functions. Then the ideas in conventional cost reduction are just convergent ideas. Like I said, in chair they say change material, change the material of the cushions, change the material of the arms, okay, change the way the legs are designed. Just convergent ideas. In value engineering, first ideas are divergent, then convergent. In this case, we are just thinking about the chair, we are just listing the ideas. Okay, these are the ideas. Reduce cost here. In this case, what we will have? First we will list large number of ideas, then we will come up with some selected ideas, then we converge into one. Okay, this is divergent convergent. This large number of ideas. Creativity means just do not criticize. I have put this here as well. No criticism of ideas. Just do not criticize. Whatever is coming to the mind, just put in. Okay. So cost reduction is usually an individual oriented work. It might be a teamwork as well, but value engineering is always a teamwork. The multidisciplinary people work in that. The production people will tell, is this possible to produce or not? The finance people would tell, are the funds available for this or not? Marketing people would tell, would the customer accept this change or not? Actually, all these people work together in value engineering. The voice of customer is being transformed into the functions here. Cost reduction, a general cost reduction follows the past practices and is analytical in approach, but value engineering is innovative. Value engineering says exercise maximum creativity, use the creativity techniques like brainstorming, Delphi technique, then morphological analysis. There are various ways to have creative ideas. So in cost reduction, the cost visibility is the process cost or the processing cost and material cost. Now these always involve the cost of the part, the specific components. Then in processing we have the labor cost, overheads. But in value engineering, the cost visibility is what is the basic function, what is the secondary function, what is the cost of supporting load in chair, that is the basic function. Then secondary functions are provide comfort. So what is the cost of providing these secondary functions? We divide the cost into these functions. So this is value engineering. Also we have unnecessary functions here. These also have cost associated with them. So these are tried to be eliminated. So, with this introduction to value engineering is over, I have a task for you people. You please select a product. You select a product, okay, like you select a chair, a daily use product. You select a pen. You select a pencil. Okay, you select your notebook. This notebook is your writing textbook or copy, text writing, and think of how can we reduce the cost of this thing. How can we reduce the cost of this pen? By changing material, by changing its appearance, and see what is the cost you are paying for. Then divide this cost into its various functions. What is the cost you are paying for the pen? That is the cost of writing. What is the cost you are paying for its appearance? What is the cost you are paying for its usability? Usability is the cover of the pen kind of a press fit, or is it a back click? What is the cost you are paying for? Try to divide this into various elements. So, this is the only thing, the task here. Next, when we will go through the value engineering study, then we will see the product which you have chosen here, the same product we will use to provide the alternatives for that. Use the creativity techniques. If possible, you should make the groups of 3 or 4 if you are close. So, then you can think of the various alternatives. You provide some, you come up with some creative ideas, okay, how this function can be accomplished in some other way. Those things we will do in the second part of this week. So, for now, thank you.